R&B stars who became homeless. Imagine being at the top of the world, surrounded by fame, fortune, and adoration, only to find yourself living on the streets, battling addiction and facing the harsh reality of homelessness. This is the shocking truth behind some of R&B's most iconic stars. From chart-topping legends to Grammy-winning artists, their journeys from stardom to struggle are stories that will leave you speechless. How did they go from being the face of success to facing the lowest point in their lives? Watch the full video, leave your thoughts in the comments, and make sure to like and subscribe to Legends of Black Excellence. Dawn Sharice Robinson. Dawn Robinson, an iconic figure in the world of R&B, is best known for her role as one of the lead members of the groundbreaking girl group En Vogue. With her powerful voice and strong stage presence, she helped catapult the group into superstardom during the early 90s. Songs like Hold On My Lovin', You're Never Gonna Get It and Don't Let Go, Love are still celebrated today, cementing En Vogue's place in music history. The group's debut album, Born to Sing 1990, went platinum, and their success continued with Funky Divas 1992, which went triple platinum. Despite the group's success, Robinson's journey with En Vogue was fraught with challenges. In 1997, after internal tensions and disagreements over management and financial compensation, she made the difficult decision to leave the group. She went on to form the short-lived group Lucy Pearl and pursued a solo career, but her personal and professional life was marked by instability. Dawn's issues with poor management and unfair pay continued to affect her career, leading to her feeling alienated from the industry she once dominated. In a surprising revelation, Dawn Robinson opened up about a deeply personal chapter of her life, her struggle with homelessness. In a candid video shared on her YouTube channel, Robinson revealed that she had lived in her car for nearly 3 years after a falling out with her mother. After moving to Las Vegas in 2020, tensions with her family led her to leave their home, and she ended up living in her car, bouncing from place to place. Despite the difficulty of the situation, Robinson found strength in this challenging time, gaining a new sense of independence. She reflected on how this experience of homelessness made her more resilient and in many ways gave her the freedom she had longed for during her years of stardom. Her story is one of reinvention and determination, showing that even in the lowest of lows, there is an opportunity for growth and empowerment. Charles Kent Wilson. Charlie Wilson, the celebrated lead singer of the Gap Band, is widely regarded as one of the most influential voices in funk and R&B. With the band's timeless hits like You Dropped a Bomb on Me, Outstanding, and Burn Rubber on Me, Wilson helped define the sound of the 70s and 80s. The Gap Band's energetic performances and unique blend of funk, soul, and R&B made them a household name, and their music remains an essential part of the genre's history. However, Wilson's success didn't come without its struggles. In the mid-1980s, tensions with his brothers and their manager caused a rift in the band, leading to Wilson's departure. Soon after, he found himself battling addiction, which severely affected his personal life and career. As his substance abuse worsened, Wilson's financial situation deteriorated, and by the early 90s, he was living on the streets of Hollywood. For almost 2 years, Wilson slept in alleys and under trucks, using cardboard as a bed and trying to avoid public recognition. His struggles were not just with addiction, but also with maintaining his dignity during his time of homelessness. He later admitted that the hardest part was hiding his identity, ashamed of what his life had become. Wilson's story, however, is one of redemption. After a period of deep personal reflection and intervention from his family and friends, Wilson sought help. A cousin who was also in recovery found him on the streets and convinced him to enter a rehab program. Through this support and his own willpower, Wilson began to rebuild his life. He later returned to music with a successful solo career that saw hits like There Goes My Baby and collaborations with artists like Snoop Dogg and Kanye West. His comeback is a testament to the power of recovery and the strength of the human spirit, and he now uses his story to inspire others who are going through similar struggles. Wilson openly speaks about his past, using his voice to help others overcome addiction and homelessness. Shanice Lorraine Wilson Knox. Shanice Lorraine Wilson Knox, professionally known as Shanice, is a renowned R&B singer who rose to prominence in the early 1990s with her powerful vocal range and vibrant energy. Born on May 14, 1973 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Shanice's talent was evident from a young age, and by the time she was in her teens, she was already making waves in the music industry. Her breakout hit I Love Your Smile, released in 1991, became a major success, reaching the top 10 on the Billboard Hot 100 and earning her recognition as one of the standout voices in R&B. Shanice's debut album, Shanice 1991, was a commercial success, showcasing her unique ability to blend smooth R&B with a touch of pop. Her exceptional vocal range, which spanned several octaves, quickly earned her respect in the industry. Over the next few years, Shanice released several more albums, including Inner Child 1993 and Shanice the Best of Shanice 1998. While her career was marked by steady successes, Shanice was also no stranger to personal struggles. Her life, both in and out of the spotlight, experienced various ups and downs. Although she remained an active performer and was loved by her fans, Shanice faced challenges balancing her career with her personal life. Her journey to overcome these difficulties included confronting periods of financial instability and navigating the pressures of the industry. Despite the obstacles, she maintained a dedicated fan base, and her legacy as a skilled vocalist has endured. Shanice's resilience and determination to continue pursuing her passion for music, even during her low points, reflect the strength that has made her a beloved figure in the R&B world. Toni Michelle Braxton. Toni Braxton is a name synonymous with R&B success. With her deep, sultry voice and a string of hits such as Unbreak My Heart and Breathe Again, Braxton became one of the most successful and respected artists in the genre. Her debut album, Toni Braxton 1993, sold over 10 million copies worldwide, earning her multiple Grammy Awards, including Best New Artist. Braxton's success continued with Secrets 1996, which featured the chart-topping single Unbreak My Heart and solidified her as one of the premier voices in R&B. Despite her musical success, Braxton's career was marred by significant financial struggles. In 1998, at the height of her career, Braxton filed for bankruptcy due to poor financial management and a burdensome record deal that left her with little profit from her multi-million-selling albums. She was forced to sell many of her personal belongings and faced challenges in securing a stable living situation. Braxton's financial troubles didn't end there. In 2010, she filed for bankruptcy a second time, citing debts between $10 million and $50 million. Health issues, including a lupus diagnosis and heart problems, compounded her difficulties. These health struggles led to her canceling her Las Vegas shows and caused her to lose even more assets. Despite these financial and personal challenges, Braxton never lost her passion for music. She continued to record, tour, and receive accolades for her work, proving that resilience and perseverance can help overcome even the most overwhelming obstacles. Braxton's story of financial ruin and recovery serves as a powerful lesson in perseverance, and her impact on the world of R&B remains undeniable. Natalie Renee McIntyre. Macy Gray, renowned for her unmistakable raspy voice, first burst onto the music scene with the release of her debut album On How Life Is in 1999. The album was a massive success, propelled by the hit single I Try, which won her a Grammy for Best Female Pop Vocal Performance. Gray's unique blend of R&B, soul, and pop made her an instant sensation, and she quickly became a household name. Her music, often filled with introspective lyrics and raw emotion, resonated with millions around the world. However, Gray's rise to fame was not without its challenges. Before her breakthrough, she faced significant financial difficulties and struggled with homelessness. Living in Los Angeles, she was a mother of two, trying to make ends meet while pursuing her dream of music. During this time, she worked various odd jobs, including singing at bars to support herself and her children. Gray has been open about her hardships, revealing that she lived in temporary housing and sometimes stayed with friends while navigating the tough music industry. Her experiences during this time of uncertainty shaped her music, infusing it with themes of survival, self-love, and perseverance. Despite these early struggles, Gray never gave up on her dream. After signing with Epic Records, she released On How Life Is, which catapulted her to stardom. Her distinctive voice and emotionally charged songs earned her critical acclaim and a devoted fan base. Over the years, she continued to release new music exploring various genres and evolving her sound. In addition to her music career, Gray has dabbled in acting, appearing in films such as Training Day and Spider-Man. Her journey from homelessness to international success serves as a powerful reminder of resilience and the importance of staying true to one's passion, no matter the obstacles. Edward Louis Johns. Eddie Johns, an influential figure in the music world, is most known for his 1979 disco hit, More Spell on You, a song that captured the lively, energetic spirit of the Paris music scene during the late 70s. Born as Edward Louis Johns, his musical journey began in Paris, where he became an integral part of the vibrant disco movement that was sweeping across Europe and beyond. While More Spell on You didn't initially garner widespread attention, it would later experience a resurgence in popularity, especially after Daft Punk, the renowned French electronic duo, sampled it for their hit single One More Time in 2001. This sample propelled the song to new heights, making it a cornerstone of 21st century dance music. However, despite the track's newfound fame, Johns would never receive the royalties or recognition he deserved. The French publishing company that owned the rights to More Spell on You claimed they could not find him to pay him for the sample, and so he missed out on what would have been a significant windfall. Before the success of Daft Punk's use of his music, Eddie Johns struggled with financial instability. After suffering a stroke, he found it nearly impossible to continue his music career. His health and the financial burdens from a lack of compensation for his work led him to homelessness, where he spent over a decade in shelters and on the streets of Los Angeles. Despite this, John's influence remained a constant in the background of the electronic and dance music scenes, especially with the renewed interest in his work due to Daft Punk's One More Time. As news of his plight spread in the 2020s, many questioned why he had been ignored and underpaid for his contributions to music. Johns' life, marked by initial success, a sudden fall into obscurity, and eventual recognition, posthumously serves as a stark reminder of the often unseen struggles that musicians face, especially when the spotlight fades and the financial systems fail to provide them the support they deserve. His story resonates with many artists who feel sidelined and forgotten, but Eddie Johns' legacy lives on through the influence of his music. Sylvester Stewart. Sly Stone, born Sylvester Stewart on March 15, 1943 in Denton, Texas, is one of the most iconic and groundbreaking figures in the history of American music. As the leader and creative force behind Sly and the Family Stone, was instrumental in shaping the sound of funk, soul, rock, and psychedelic music in the late 60s and early 70s. His band, a diverse group that included both black and white musicians, was one of the first to embrace and promote racial harmony through music breaking down barriers in an era of racial tension. Their albums Stand 1969 and There's a Riot Going On 1971 were revolutionary blending elements of funk rock and social consciousness that helped define an entire generation. The success of Sly and the Family Stone's music was unparalleled during its peak, with hits like Everyday People Dance to the Music Family Affair and Thank You for Letting Me Be Mice Elf Again. These tracks became anthems of the late 60s and early 70s, blending infectious grooves with political and social messages. Stone's vision of blending funk with rock elements had a profound influence on music, paving the way for future artists in both genres. However, as Stone's fame grew, so did his personal struggles. His reliance on drugs, particularly cocaine, severely impacted his career and relationships with his bandmates. By the mid-70s, Sly Stone began to lose control of both his personal and professional life. His addiction issues led to turmoil within the band, and he began missing live shows and studio sessions. By the early 80s, Stone was no longer part of the mainstream music scene. His financial mismanagement coupled with mounting drug issues led to him losing much of his fortune. As his life spiraled, Sly Stone fell into a period of homelessness. After years of legal disputes and battles over royalties, he ended up living in a van in Los Angeles, relying on Social Security and the help of friends to survive. Despite his immense contributions to music, Stone's later years were marred by these struggles. In 2011, Sly was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but his personal difficulties continued to overshadow his legacy. Sly Stone's fall from grace is a poignant reminder of the pressures of fame and addiction, yet his contributions to music continue to be celebrated. His groundbreaking work with Sly and the Family Stone remains a cornerstone of funk and rock music, and his influence can be felt in the work of countless artists who followed. Marianne Evelyn. Gabriel Faithfull. Marianne Faithfull, born on December 29, 1946, in Hampstead, London, is a British singer-songwriter and actress who became one of the most iconic figures in rock and roll during the 1960s and beyond. Her career took off in 1964 when she was discovered at the age of 17 by Rolling Stones' manager Andrew Oldham. Faithfull's hauntingly beautiful voice and ethereal presence made her an instant sensation, with her 1964 single, As Tears Go By, becoming a top 10 hit in the UK. Her early success was marked by her youth and beauty, as she quickly became a muse for artists, including Mick Jagger, with whom she had a famous and tumultuous relationship. However, the life of fame and excess quickly took a toll on Faithfull. As the 60s progressed, she became deeply involved in the drug-fueled rock and roll lifestyle, which began to overshadow her career. By the late 60s, she struggled with addiction to heroin, which led to her downfall both personally and professionally. Her relationship with Mick Jagger was one of the most publicized rock romances of the time, but it eventually ended in 1970. The breakup, coupled with her ongoing struggles with substance abuse, led to a dramatic decline in her career and personal life. Faithfull became homeless, often living on the streets of London or staying with friends. Her story of survival and redemption became one of rock's most compelling narratives. In the mid-1970s, Faithfull began to pull herself out of her destructive cycle. She reinvented herself musically with her 1979 album, Broken English, which marked her comeback to the music scene. The album's raw, vulnerable sound and lyrics about personal pain and recovery garnered widespread critical acclaim. Her voice, once light and melodic, had taken on a gritty emotional depth, and it became the signature style that defined her later work. Faithfull's contributions to music continued through the decades with successful albums and collaborations, but she never lost sight of the painful experiences that shaped her. Today, she is regarded as one of the most influential female vocalists of the 20th century, a symbol of resilience, creativity, and strength in the face of immense personal struggles. Dennis Carl Wilson. Dennis Carl Wilson, born on December 4, 1944 in Inglewood, California, was the drummer and one of the founding members of the legendary band, the Beach Boys. Wilson, the only true surfer in the family, embodied the California lifestyle that the band's early hits, like Surfer Girl, Fun, 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 and I Get Around, reflected. While his brothers Brian Carl and Mike Wilson were more heavily involved in the band's creative direction. Dennis played a key role in shaping the band's sound, contributing his distinctive drumming style and raw emotional voice to some of their later works. His 1977 solo album, Pacific Ocean Blue, was a rare glimpse into his personal musical identity and was critically well received, with the track Moonlight Makes Me Blue becoming one of his standout songs. Despite the success of the Beach Boys, Dennis Wilson's personal life was marked by a series of struggles. His relationship with fame was turbulent, compounded by issues of substance abuse and tumultuous romantic entanglements. His addiction to drugs and alcohol severely impacted his life and career, leading to strained relationships with his family and bandmates. By the 1980s, Dennis's personal issues became more pronounced. His financial troubles and erratic behavior fueled by his addiction caused him to live a life of instability. Often staying in motels or living in his car, he found himself distanced from the limelight that had once been his world. Dennis's downward spiral culminated in a tragic and premature death. On December 28, 1983, at the age of 39, Wilson drowned in a lagoon near his Marina del Rey home after a day of drinking. His body was found in the water, and the circumstances surrounding his death were deeply sorrowful. Despite his untimely passing, Dennis Wilson's influence on the music world remains significant. His emotional depth and vulnerability as a musician gave the Beach Boys some of their most personal and introspective songs. Today, Wilson is remembered not just as the drummer of the Beach Boys, but as a deeply troubled yet profoundly talented figure whose struggles were often hidden behind the public's perception of California sunshine and surf culture. His life serves as a poignant reminder of the destructive effects of fame and addiction, but also of the lasting power of his music. James Robert Mosley. James Robert Mosley, better known as Bob Mosley, was a talented American singer, songwriter, and bassist most renowned for his role in the influential rock band Moby Grape. Born on December 10, 1948 in the United States, Mosley was a founding member of Moby Grape, which emerged in the mid-1960s during the height of the psychedelic rock movement. The band's self-titled debut album, released in 1967, is often regarded as one of the best albums of the era. With tracks like Omaha and Hey Grandma, Moby Grape offered a unique blend of folk rock, blues, and country, pushing musical boundaries and earning them critical acclaim. While Moby Grape's music resonated with both critics and fans, the band's career was marred by internal conflicts, personal struggles, and legal disputes. Despite the band's innovative sound and potential for long-term success, Mosley and his bandmates were locked in a series of battles over royalties and control of their music, which led to the band's decline. Mosley's struggles with mental health, particularly paranoia, compounded these issues and hindered his ability to maintain a steady career in music. After Moby Grape disbanded, Mosley found himself in a downward spiral, eventually becoming homeless. For many years, Mosley lived in the streets of San Diego, where he often found solace in the company of his friends, squirrels and lizards. He would sometimes live in a cardboard box or find refuge by the side of a freeway. His circumstances were dire, but his love for music never wavered. Bandmate Peter Lewis discovered Mosley in these tough conditions in the early 1990s, bringing him a guitar and encouraging him to reconnect with his music. Despite the difficulties, Mosley kept writing, recording, and performing, proving his resilience in the face of adversity. In 1996, a court ruling gave Moby Grape back their name, and Mosley briefly rejoined the band. Though his mental health challenges continued to plague him, Mosley's determination to continue his musical career remained unwavering. His life and struggles have since become a poignant reminder of the mental health battles many artists face and the impact of the music industry's often unforgiving nature. John Francis Anthony Pastorius III. Jaco Pastorius, born December 1, 1951 in Norristown, Pennsylvania, is widely regarded as one of the greatest bass guitarists of all time. Known for his revolutionary approach to the electric bass, Pastorius completely transformed the instrument's role in jazz and fusion music. His innovative techniques, such as harmonics, fretless bass playing, and intricate virtuosic improvisation, made him a standout figure in the jazz world. Pastorius's music with his band, the Jaco Pastorius Band, as well as his work with Weather Report, helped redefine the boundaries of jazz fusion in the 1970s. Pastorius's career skyrocketed after he joined Weather Report in 1976, contributing to their critically acclaimed albums Heavy Weather and Black Market. His signature work, Birdland, became a defining moment for the genre, showcasing his unique sound and virtuosity. His innovative use of the fretless bass guitar set him apart from his contemporaries, making him a groundbreaking force in jazz and beyond. However, Pastorius's musical genius was accompanied by personal demons that would ultimately derail his career. By the late 70s and early 80s, Pastorius struggled with mental health issues and addiction. His bipolar disorder, coupled with heavy substance abuse, created a volatile and unpredictable personality. His behavior became increasingly erratic, and tensions with bandmates and friends grew as his addiction worsened. Financial difficulties, along with his inability to control his personal life, further complicated his situation. Pastorius's decline led to his departure from Weather Report in 1981 and a series of failed projects and collaborations. Despite his immense talent, Pastorius was unable to secure steady work, and his personal and professional life continued to spiral out of control. In the early 1980s, he found himself homeless, living on the streets of New York City. His struggles with addiction and mental health led him into dangerous situations, and he was frequently hospitalized. On September 21, 1987, at the age of 35, Jaco Pastorius was tragically beaten during a confrontation outside a nightclub in Miami. He fell into a coma and died from his injuries several days later, marking the untimely and tragic end of one of jazz's most brilliant and revolutionary musicians. Jaco Pastorius's life and death are a sobering reminder of the fragile nature of genius and the toll that mental illness and addiction can take on even the most extraordinary talents. Despite the tragedy of his passing, his influence on music and the electric bass continues to inspire generations of musicians, and his groundbreaking work remains an integral part of jazz history. David Van Cortlandt Crosby. David Van Cortlandt Crosby, widely known as David Crosby, was born on August 14, 1941, in Los Angeles, California. He is a founding member of two of the most influential rock bands in history, the Byrds and Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young. Crosby's groundbreaking work in these bands helped shape the sound of 60s and 70s folk rock and is still considered a major influence in the world of music today. Crosby's career began in the early 1960s with the Byrds, where his harmonizing vocals and distinct guitar playing helped define the band's sound, particularly on songs like Mr. Tambourine Man and Turn, Turn, Turn. His tenure with the Byrds was marked by both creative achievements and interpersonal conflicts. Crosby was known for his intense personality and desire for musical innovation, which at times caused friction with his bandmates. In 1967, after disagreements about the band's musical direction, Crosby was dismissed from the Byrds. After leaving the Byrds, Crosby formed Crosby, Stills and Nash, a supergroup that would later include Neil Young, making the iconic Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young. Their debut album in 1969 is considered one of the defining albums of the era. Hits like Sweet, Judy Blue Eyes and Ohio became anthems of the counterculture movement. Crosby's beautiful harmonies and socially conscious lyrics were pivotal in the band's success. However, Crosby's personal life was marred by several struggles, particularly with addiction. His battles with drugs, including heroin and cocaine, led to legal troubles and even imprisonment. In 1982, Crosby was sentenced to prison for drugs and weapons possession, which further complicated his career. Despite his difficulties, Crosby's return to music in the 1990s was marked by renewed success and critical acclaim. His later work, including his solo albums, was characterized by introspection, vulnerability, and artistic growth. Crosby has been open about his past struggles, including his substance abuse, health issues, and strained relationships with his bandmates and family. In recent years, he has made a comeback both musically and personally. His autobiography, Since Then, published in 1989, and his ongoing contributions to music reflect a man who has endured personal demons, but emerged with an inspiring story of resilience. Crosby's impact on music is undeniable, and his complex life serves as a reminder of the price of fame addiction and the enduring power of creativity. Earl Simmons. Earl Simmons, better known by his stage name DMX, was born on December 18, 1970 in Mount Vernon, New York. He became one of the most influential and successful rappers in the late 90s and early 2000s, known for his gritty, raw style and his ability to convey emotion and authenticity in his music. DMX's debut album, It's Dark and Hell is Hot 1998, was a massive commercial success, going multi-platinum and establishing him as a dominant force in the rap game. His first 5 albums all debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200, an unprecedented feat that solidified his place in hip-hop history. Known for his aggressive delivery and deeply personal lyrics, DMX's music often explored themes of struggle, pain, and redemption, resonating with a wide audience. Tracks like Rough Riders Anthem and Party Up Up in Here became anthems, and his rough exterior belied a more vulnerable side that fans connected with. His collaborations with artists like Jay-Z, Nas, and the Rough Riders Collective further boosted his career, making him one of the most respected and commercially successful figures in hip-hop. However, DMX's success was often overshadowed by his personal struggles. He battled with drug addiction for much of his career, which caused him to experience periods of incarceration and financial instability. His troubles with the law, including multiple arrests, were well documented, and his legal and financial issues plagued him even as his career soared. In 2017, DMX filed for bankruptcy, claiming that he owed over $10 million in back taxes, child support, and other debts. Despite this, his music continued to have a lasting impact, and he remained a beloved figure in the rap community. Tragically, DMX's life came to a heartbreaking end. On April 2, 2021, he suffered a heart attack triggered by a drug overdose, which left him in a coma. He passed away on April 9, 2021, at the age of 50. His death marked the end of an era in hip-hop, as DMX had long been a symbol of the struggle, the highs and lows of fame, and the power of overcoming adversity. His death brought an outpouring of tributes from fans, artists, and fellow musicians who celebrated his contributions to the genre and his authenticity. DMX's life is a reminder of the fragile nature of fame and fortune, but also of the resilience and human spirit. Despite his many personal battles, his legacy as one of the most iconic voices in rap music remains undeniable. He will always be remembered for his raw, unapologetic style and his unmatched impact on the hip-hop world. Jewel Kilcher. Jewel Kilcher, known mononymously as Jewel, was born on May 23, 1974, in Payson, Utah. Raised in Alaska. Jewel's early life was marked by financial hardship and instability. Her family moved to Alaska when she was a child, where they lived a modest and often challenging life. Despite the difficult circumstances, Jewel's musical talents began to emerge early, and she found comfort in singing and songwriting. She moved to San Diego in the early 90s to attend college, but it was in the coffee houses of the city where she began performing and honing her craft. Jewel's breakthrough came in 1995 with the release of her debut album, Pieces of You. The album, which included the hit singles Who Will Save Your Soul and You Were Meant for Me, became a massive commercial success, eventually selling over 12 million copies worldwide. Jewel's poetic lyrics and folk pop style resonated deeply with a wide audience, and she quickly became one of the most successful artists of the late 90s. Her raw, vulnerable voice and introspective lyrics earned her critical acclaim and multiple Grammy nominations. However, Jewel's path to fame wasn't without challenges. Before her success, she lived in her car and struggled with poverty while trying to make it as a musician. At one point, she was sleeping on the floor of a friend's house and performing in small local venues, unsure if her music career would ever take off. Her early struggles with poverty and homelessness were deeply formative, and she often draws from these experiences in her music. Despite the hardships, Jewel's resilience and determination helped her build a successful career. In the years following her debut album, Jewel continued to release hit albums including Spirit 1998 and This Way 2001. Over time, her music evolved, incorporating a blend of folk, pop, country, and even jazz influences. Jewel became a respected figure not only for her music, but also for her philanthropic work, particularly in advocating for mental health awareness and other social causes. Her story is one of perseverance, transformation, and artistic growth. Despite facing a rough start, Jewel's journey is a testament to the power of music and determination to overcome adversity. Kim Lamont Owens. Kim Lamont Owens, better known as K. Michelle, was born on March 4, 1984 in Memphis, Tennessee. From an early age, K. Michelle was immersed in music, growing up in a family of musicians and singers. Her love for R&B and soul music guided her toward a career in the genre. She attended Florida A&M University on a scholarship where she studied music, but her path to stardom wasn't straightforward. K. Michelle faced many challenges during her early years in the music industry, including financial struggles, heartbreak, and the difficulties of trying to break into a competitive field. Her big break came in 2010 when she signed with Jive Records and released her first single, Fakin' It. However, it wasn't until 2013 when she joined the cast of VH1's reality show, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, that she gained widespread recognition. Her fiery personality and unfiltered approach to life and love captured the attention of viewers, and her music began to gain more exposure. K. Michelle's debut album, Rebellious Soul 2013, was a commercial success showcasing her vocal power and emotive lyrics. The album, which blends R&B with a bit of hip-hop and pop influences, received critical acclaim and set her apart as one of the leading voices in contemporary R&B. Behind the scenes, K. Michelle faced numerous personal and professional struggles. Despite her rising fame, she was still dealing with financial issues and the pressures of balancing her music career with her personal life. She was open about her experiences, sharing her battles with relationships and the emotional toll they took on her. In 2016, K. Michelle released More Issues Than Vogue, an album that further cemented her place in R&B, exploring themes of heartbreak, independence, and resilience. Her ability to balance vulnerability with strength has made K. Michelle one of the most dynamic and relatable figures in modern R&B. Although she has been very public about her struggles, including her journey with body image issues and her experiences with the music industry, K. Michelle's resilience and self-awareness have enabled her to maintain a loyal fan base. Her career has continued to evolve, with subsequent albums including Kimberly the People I Used to Know, 2017, and she remains a strong advocate for women's empowerment and self-love. K. Michelle's story is one of overcoming adversity, learning from painful experiences, and transforming them into powerful, heartfelt music. Throughout history, numerous legendary figures have faced incredible challenges, from homelessness to addiction, all while navigating the pressures of fame. These stories of resilience, like those of Charlie Wilson DMX and other iconic artists, prove that even in the darkest times, hope and redemption are possible. Their journeys remind us that success is not always linear, and the struggles behind the scenes can be just as impactful as their musical contributions. What do you think about the highs and lows of these artists' lives? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and support Legends of Black Excellence.